Holy Habits, an introduction. Over the next few months, we're going to utilise material from the discipleship course, Holy Habits, that has its origins in a study of Acts 2, verses 42 to 47, by Andrew Roberts, who's a Methodist minister and writer. Hopefully, when things are a bit more normal, we could consider deepening our examination of these resources through group discussions in one way or another. Sponsored by the Methodist Church and promoted by the United Reformed Church, the Holy Habits material is being used by a variety of denominations, and some parishes in our diocese and deanery have been using the series for discussion groups to explore the breadth of discipleship. Holy Habits is about a way of life, a rhythm formed in response to the call of Jesus, and has parallels with our Bishop Tim's initiative a couple of years ago, encouraging us to write and follow a rule of life, a flexible framework to help us grow more like Christ. By creating our own rule, we can incorporate a practical way of responding to the love of God by committing ourselves to a number of actions that will help us grow up in our faith. Whether or not we're doggedly following or trying to follow a rule of life, the study of Holy Habits will equip us to achieve the same ends, to develop our roles as disciples and ambassadors for Christ, lived out in the whole of our lives, in our work, our rest and our play. Andrew Roberts has taken 10 qualities of Christian discipleship, all of which can be seen to be habits and practices that are already characteristics of a lifestyle. These habits are biblical teaching, prayer, gladness and generosity, worship, serving, sharing resources, breaking bread, eating together, fellowship, and making more disciples. Each habit has a set of resources designed to help us understand the habit, to form the habit, and to look deeper into the habit and how it shapes our discipleship. We can be challenged individually about the habits, but we can also be challenged as a church, a community of faith within the wider community that we seek to serve. The whole course can provide useful resources, material, framework for discussion groups, perhaps as house groups or other gatherings, when we can meet again or maybe virtually when we can't. But for now and the immediate future, we propose to look at each holy habit weekly in our new tradition of a thought for the week that we've established over the last year. Our exploration will be grounded in scriptural authority from where all our Christian awareness should emerge, as well as seeking to place our learning in the context of our 21st century lives. So this is not merely some academic study, but is a reflection of a habitual, holy way of life, day by day. Holy habits are not like garments to be put on and taken off. They should be the spontaneous behaviour and customs of Christian disciples who, in obedience to Christ, have dedicated their lives to following him. So to set the scene, as it were, and to get where Andrew Roberts was coming from, let's look at that passage from Acts that was his inspiration. They devoted themselves to the apostles' teaching and fellowship, to the breaking of bread and the prayers. Awe came upon everyone, because many wonders and signs were being done by the apostles. All who believed were together and had all things in common. They would sell their possessions and goods and distribute the proceeds to all, as any had need. Day by day, as they spent much time together in the temple, they broke bread at home and ate their food with glad and generous hearts, praising God and having the goodwill of all the people. And day by day the Lord added to their number those who were being saved. So this passage was set at the very beginning of the disciples' new roles as evangelists and apostles, following the events of Pentecost, which had so fired up their spirits and hearts. They began the formation of what was to become the Christian church. So in using this narrative, we can see how they developed as disciples, as questing followers of the risen Christ, to give us clues as to how we can deepen our mission to obey Christ's command, to make disciples of all nations. The series will begin for us during week commencing the 22nd of February with biblical teaching, continuing through Lent and then recommencing after Easter. And the weekly reflections will be available via the church website, and transcripts will come out with the clergy midweek emails. So, get the habit.